The death toll has risen to at least 15 people after a man drove a pickup truck through a crowd of New Year's Eve revelers in New Orleans. U.S. President Joe Biden said the American-born attacker who was killed in a shootout with police was inspired by the Islamic State terror group.
American officials identified the suspect as Shamsud Din Jabbar, a 42-year-old Army veteran who was born in Texas. Jabbar drove a rented pickup truck onto the sidewalk to go around a police vehicle and gain access to the Bourbon Street corridor around 3:15 a.m. on New Year's morning, where thousands of people were celebrating. He then drove at a high speed through the crowd until he was engaged by police officers who shot and killed him. He was carrying an Islamic State flag in his vehicle, as well as two potentially explosive devices. Authorities also say that they believe he may not have acted alone and that they'd found other possible explosive devices in the area. In an address from Camp David, President Biden called it a heinous attack, saying that Jabbar had posted videos on social media just before the attack, indicating that he was inspired by ISIS. Jabbar served in the U.S. Army for 10 years, including a deployment to Afghanistan. A major college football game in New Orleans, scheduled for Wednesday, has been postponed until Thursday. President Biden said that the FBI is now leading the investigation to determine what happened, why it happened, and whether there is any continuing threat to public safety. Ira Spitzer, SABC News, San Francisco.
We're tracking the explosion of a cyber truck outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Law enforcement and the intelligence community are investigating this as well, including whether there's any possible connection with the attack in New Orleans. Thus far, there's nothing to report on that score at this time. I've directed my team to make sure every resource is made available to federal, state, and local law enforcement to complete the investigation in New Orleans quickly and to make sure there's no remaining threat to the American people. And we'll support the people of New Orleans as they begin the hard work of healing. New Orleans is a place unlike any other place in the world. It's a city full of charm and joy. So many people around the world love New Orleans because of its history, its culture, and above all, its people. So I know, while this person committed a terrible assault on the city, the spirit of our New Orleans will never, never, never be defeated. It always will shine forth. We've seen that time and time again throughout its history, and I know we'll see it again in the days and weeks ahead.